If you're checking out the majors available in the Department of Biological Sciences at Messiah, one of the most logical questions you can ask is, well, what courses would I be taking? Well, first, we're a liberal arts institution, which means about a third of the courses that you're taking to amass the 123 credits necessary for graduation with a bachelor's degree, as defined by the Pennsylvania Department of Education, will be general education program courses, what we term QUEST, Qualities Essential for Student Transformation. Now, for a non-science major, well, that would even include a laboratory-based science course. But it also includes courses in literature and the social sciences, the humanities, and of ethics and pluralism and non-Western studies and histories and the like. Several years ago, I was eating dinner with the vice president for healthcare at Google, and he brought up a really interesting anecdote. He said he's often asked, what's the difference between a candidate that comes from a liberal arts education versus one trained at a larger university that was a specialized program that didn't include this larger general education programming? And he said, well, the answer is easy. The one that comes from the liberal arts education knows how to write. And he went on to elaborate about the essential role of communication, not only in his business, but in science in general, right? The New England Journal of Medicine or the Journal of Ecology or Cancer Research, well, they don't write themselves. And communication, both writing and verbal, is essential. And pragmatically also mentioned, well, we have to work with these people and travel and eat dinner. And boy, you really want to have somebody that you can debate with and talk about current events and what they're reading. You want a well-rounded, well, Renaissance scholar, right? Now, a little over half of the credits that you're amassing are coming from your major. In this case, hopefully biological sciences. And then 12 to 15 are coming from what we term our free electives. That can be any course you want to take at the university, but let's be honest, if you're a biological enthusiast, chances are maybe a couple of those are going to be biology courses, so you can increase the breadth and depth of your training. What will it look like when you come? Well, in your first year, we lead you through what we term a very intentional biology core. It starts off in your first year, moving you through molecular and cellular biologies, an understanding of zoology and physiology, ending in botany for that year. You come back in your sophomore year for a dedicated course in genetics, and then end this core arc in ecology and adaptation, understanding how the selective pressures of a dynamic world act as pressures on the genetics to give us the incredible variety of life that we see in our first year. Now, anybody worth their muster as a biologist is also a chemist, and we'll mentor you through a year of general chemistry and a year of organic chemistry. If you're interested in graduate school in the biomedical sciences or medical school PA programs and the like, well, you're probably also going to want to take a 5th semester, and that would be biochemistry. That's a decision you'll make with your advisor. Finally, we round out this core foundational treatment in biology by 4 additional supporting courses: calculus, 1 course in physics, 1 course in statistics, because I need you to be able to look critically and analyze data, and finally 1 in philosophy. Now, that actually checkmarks off one of your general education program requirements as well at the same time. But it's a group of courses that could be some other things. And we've said in biology, nah, it needs to be philosophy, because we need you to think deeply about you and your place in this world, particularly as you prepare for our senior capstone course, which helps you synthesize your journey through science, faith integration, and your view of vocation, where God is calling you to serve him. Now, as we move on from our 3rd or 4th year, these courses, although not exclusively there, predominate our last 2 years, and that is our specialty courses, right? Where you specialize deeper in your particular interest. Now, if you're interested in the cellular biologies, biomedical sciences, medical school, and the like, you're probably interested in the courses that are in the leftmost column. If you're interested in the ecological sciences and organismal and environmental sciences, well, hopefully you're seeing things that excite you in the right side. Now, one thing to point out here is that the majority of these courses are laboratory-based courses. We have a deep dedication to experiential learning and hands-on training. So in the average course, you're in lecture about 3 hours a week, and then you're in lab 3 hours the same week. Again, developing those essential competencies to be employable and to launch you into further education. Now, there's a lot of courses that I could call out here and highlight. Cancer biology is one of my favorite. That's my specialty and one that I teach here. But to point out a couple others, one of them I'm going to call on is gross anatomy. Gross anatomy here is a unique course and quite a distinctive for an undergraduate institution. If you start in a nursing program here or one of the general health-based majors, you'll often have anatomy and physiology as two hybrid courses in your first year. Instead, the classic and traditional way of training scientists and diagnosticians is to start them off in a broad foundation of critical thinking. Again, those courses that step you through the molecular and cellular, physiological, zoological, and botanical underpinnings of science. But then, in their upper level courses, building on that understanding, delve into a dedicated course in upper level physiology and a deeper upper level handling of anatomy. And our gross anatomy course here is cadaver-based. It's offered every semester. And each semester, there's both a male and a female human cadaver. And our undergraduates are the ones that hold the scalpels. It's a unique course. It meets only for 2 hours of lecture each week and 2 afternoons each week of dissection. Every student is dissecting every week. Now, on the molecular side of our story, hopefully you have checked out our research vignette, where you see the wide variety of equipment that we have available in the Department of Biological Sciences. And a lot of the same equipment is available for our teaching laboratories. And in these teaching laboratories, as you see here, cell culture facilities enable you to sterilely handle human and mammalian cells to learn how to not only culture them, but engineer them genetically and analyze them for gene expression, learning how to manipulate DNA, how to section tissues and stain tissues, and do a whole variety of cellular and physiological techniques. Immunology, our cell and cancer biology courses also utilize this type of equipment. And lastly, touching on our ecological and environmental sciences, a deep passion in a variety of field courses to train you, again, with that hands-on knowledge. A number of distinctive courses, such as our Introduction to GIS, or Geographic Information Systems. This trains you in how to utilize the specialty software for analyzing all these various aspects of topography and geography, for urban planning, and a whole variety of really exciting applications. Also, our courses in environmental techniques and policy, both those in the terrestrial aspect and in the wetland, train you, again, in the field, in these 3-hour labs, how to do the real thing. And what's really unique is a couple of them are actually structured as small consulting companies, where in the course of the laboratory work, they're doing analytical analysis of a particular site and ultimately preparing a report for a client, a real client that's receiving and critiquing that report. Incredible hands-on knowledge so you can hit the ground running in your careers. Now, a wide variety of courses and training available right on site here in the Department of Biological Sciences. But for those that might be looking for aspects of, well, alpine ecology, or maybe oceanography. You're looking at marine biology and marine mammals. Well, are those offered? Well, not on site here, but in partnership with the AuSable Institute for Environmental Studies. This is based in Michigan and the Puget Sound of Washington State. You can earn Messiah University credit for taking courses at the AuSable Institute over the summers. And there's even scholarships available through the AuSable Institute to travel and take courses from some of the leading environmental scientists and Christian scholars around the nation. So, in short, I had a wealth of opportunities available within our majors at the Department of Biological Sciences. And I hope you see something that has whetted your appetite. And wow, I'm thinking maybe I'd like to take a couple courses again myself.